Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It's week 14 of the NFL, and the line movers are back for another week of NFL football. I'm Tyler Liddick, joined by Nick Lee and Zach Scarborough. You can check us out on the web at _LM Network, at Tyler Liddick, at Zach Scarborough 6, and at Wise Guys Nick. You can also check out the line movers on the internet at thelinemovers.net. So we're going to get started. We're going to roll right into the NFL action this week. It seems like it is a divisional week in the NFL, and if it is not a divisional matchup, it is a good matchup. So we have two divisional games and two solid matchups to focus on. Let's give out some picks and send them on their way, guys. We're going to start off with 1:00 football Sunday. The 8-4 Cowboys travel to your surging Washington football team, beating some bad teams, but they are winning games. They are now 6-6, and they are in the hunt for the division if they can come out for a win this weekend. Cowboys traveling to the Washington football team. The spread is 4.5 Cowboys, and the over-under is 43.5. Zach, how do you feel?
Yeah, this is a huge game for the Cowboys, and luckily for them, they are, seem to be back healthy and playing good. They looked good last week. They looked better on both sides of the ball with all their players back. Washington coming in on a 4-game win streak, beating Las Vegas, Seattle, Carolina the last 3 games. So nothing too impressive, but wins nonetheless. And if they can manage to win versus the Cowboys, they'll blow this NFC East wide open. I don't see it. I think the Cowboys just have too much firepower. I don't think that Washington, even though their defense has been playing great, I don't think that they're going to be able to outscore the Cowboys. Dak is also 19-7-1 as a starter versus NFC East teams. I think this is just not a very good spot for Washington. It's a huge game for them. Don't think it's a very good spot. Give me the Cowboys. Give me the -4, and let's go win that division.
Yeah, this is a tough game for me to handicap. I mean, a division rivalry on the road in Washington for Dallas. Dallas is getting healthy, as Zach alluded to. And I just wonder how much more Pollard is going to start getting the carries and getting the ball. I assume Zeke's going to play this week, and I haven't heard that he's not playing, so they'll continue to nurse him along. But I think Pollard needs to be getting more touches in this offense. You see when he does touch the ball, he's creating some big plays. It's a totally different offense with him behind the quarterback than it is with Zeke at the time. I think that Dallas does score points in this Washington defense. As you said, Washington has beaten some fairly poor teams. This line is it's a tough line, sitting at 4.5 or 4. It's tempting to take Washington in this spot, but I think I lean Dallas here. It's probably officially a no play for me, but if I was going to take it, I lean Dallas. But that line at 4.5 is tempting to take Washington.
Yeah, tough game to pick. Divisional game. You got one team going in a direction, obviously upward, but they're beating some bad football teams in the Washington football team. Excuse me. I think my play here is probably on the over, if any play, but I'm in the boat of no play at all. I think the Cowboys are probably going to, we're seeing one of the best defensive lines in football with the Redskins. And I know the Cowboys have a great offensive line as well, but I think the Redskins have figured it out on their front four, and their defense has made big strides in improvement since the start of the year. So I do like their defense. The weapons for Dallas probably is a neutralizer. I'm not 100% behind Pollard being the better back in Dallas, more elusive, bigger playmaker. Yeah. But Zeke is still the guy that's going to pound the ball between the tackles, and they need him healthy. So I think maybe just dealing with Pollard for a game or two and leaving Zeke on the sidelines is probably the best plan of action for Dallas, because to have 2 healthy backs in the NFL is definitely better than 1 at all points in times now in the NFL. So if I was Dallas, that would be my plan of action, would be completely resting Zeke for the next couple of weeks and attack it with 1 running back. I'm on the over here.
Zeke's playing.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I think I do, and I agree with you. I mean, he's just not healthy right now. He's being fairly ineffective. And let's not forget, for those people that want to take Dallas or like Tyler said, the over, Dallas is still the highest scoring offense in the league, averaging over 41 points a game. So, for as much as we sit here and dog on their running game right now, they are still scoring points at a high clip.
Yeah, and if you do look back at where who Washington has just beaten, like the Raiders, they've obviously lost some passing weapons. Russell Wilson was throwing the ball all over the place on Monday night, or I think it was Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football. He was throwing the ball all over the place 2 weeks ago, coming back from the hand injury, was missing wide receivers by yards over the head, right, left. So I wouldn't say Washington has had the hardest challenges, and also the talent level is a step above what they've just played, I believe. Moving along now, we have your 6-6 San Francisco 49ers traveling to Cincinnati to play the 7-5 Bengals. The 49ers are laying 1.5 points here on the road at 4:30 in Cincinnati, over under 49 points. Nick, how do you feel this game's going to turn out?
I like the home dog here. I think if you guys watched that Chargers Bengals game last week, a lot of funky things went against Cincinnati in that game. They got off to a slow start. There were some drop passes, some really strange plays that went in the favor of the Chargers. And when it was all said and done, the Bengals did get back into the game. And then obviously a costly turnover took the game out of control for the Bengals. But I like the Bengals here. I think that Cincinnati is still growing as a team. I like who they have. They're a young team, but I like Joe Burrow. I like him to bounce back here, which they've shown to do all year. In the games where they've lost, they've come back the next week and played well. So I like Cincinnati at home here. I think San Francisco is also growing as a team, but I don't think they have enough to beat the Bengals on the road.
Yeah, it's tough not to like the home dog here. I don't really have a play on this game. It's hard to handicap because there's so many injuries on both teams. Cincy did not look great. I know Joe Burrow's dealing with a finger issue. Last week they were missing their right tackle and center. I don't know if they're going to be back. They're both questionable. I think they're supposed to play, but that posed a lot of problems for them. And with San Francisco's linebackers and guys down, I think that if they're not in the game, it's going to be a game changer. And maybe that's why we've seen the line move so much. I mean, it's already moved to like 3.5 points in favor of San Fran. I don't know. The 49ers looked terrible last week. Their defense didn't look as bad as what the score showed. But, at the end of the day, they lost to Seattle, who's a disaster right now. So losing to the Chargers was a much better loss, I guess, if you can say that. Got to roll with the home dog right now, but I don't have an official play on this because there's just too many injuries. I don't know if Deebo Samuel or Fred Warner. I know Logan Wilson's out for San Fran with the shoulder, I think, for the rest of the season. So just too many injuries. Got to figure out who's going to be playing. The healthier team's going to have the advantage.
I am on the side of the Bengals in this one. A couple spots I look for in the NFL. Warm weather teams traveling to cold weather environments. Obviously, San Fran, warm weather, traveling to Cincinnati in the wintertime, 4:00 game. The sun will be down. The weather will be colder. And then, you have the Bengals coming off a bad loss. So sports books maybe being overreactive to that, giving them a short line. The Bengals offense is good. The Seahawks offense is not. And I think that the Bengals are going to be able to score points easier than what the Seahawks did last week. I don't think the 49ers are a great team. I just think that they find ways to win some games through, scheming. Some teams don't play the zone running game as well as others. And that's where the 49ers really excel, is against those teams that don't play it well. But I think the Bengals are due to win this game, and I like the weapons that they have on offense. And if you look at last week, there were some turnovers that really hurt them, and I don't think that they're going to repeat the turnovers in 2 weeks in a row. So I'll take the Bengals getting 1.5 here. We're going to move along. Another 4:30 game on Sunday that means a lot, and that's going to be a great game. We have your Buffalo Bills sitting at 7-5, traveling out of the cold weather to Tampa Bay to face the Buccaneers, who are 9-3. The Bills are getting 3.5 points here. The over/under is 53. Zach, how do you see this one playing out?
Yeah, I mean, this is a terrible spot for the Bills coming off that Monday Night Football game in freezing cold weather. They went just to war. I mean, defensive line and linebackers have to be hurting this week after what the Pats, ran 40 times, 200 yards against them. And now you got to travel down to Tampa Bay and face that team. I don't know, it's a tough. I just don't really think the Bills. I mean, if you go look at their schedule this year, they've crushed a lot of really bad teams, and they have struggled and lost against pretty much every decent, good team they've played. I think the beating they took last week is going to show. I think Leonard Fournette's going to be able to get the run game going against this Bills defense. And then the Bills are also missing Tre'Davious Smith, all-pro corner that they lost over Thanksgiving week. His backup, we didn't really get to see him in pass coverage because there was no passes last week. So, he's got a, tough task. And if they can get Leonard Fournette going, I think Brady's going to pick the secondary apart. Give me Tampa at home. I saw it at -3. I think it's still -3 at some places. So, make sure you get the 3 number or buy the 0.5 point down. But give me Tampa -3 at home all day in this one.
Yeah, I agree with Zach here. The Bills' offense is just not producing. I know that Monday night was obviously some strange circumstances with the weather, but the Bills' offense has been struggling for weeks. They're one-dimensional. They can't run the ball. It's hurting the passing game. And the Bills now are just 7-5. They're barely hanging on to a wild card spot. This was a 2 teams here, the Bucs and the Bills, that many thought would maybe a Super Bowl preview. A lot of good teams, or a lot of people had these 2 teams in their Super Bowl predictions for this year. And Tampa Bay is heating up as the season goes on. You start to see that with Tom Brady-led teams. They start heating up. I think Tampa Bay is getting better on defense with that secondary. And I like Tampa here too at home. I don't think that the Bills offense has enough to compete with them.
Yes. I as well like the Buccaneers here. I do think that the Bills are beating up on bad teams and losing to good teams. I've been saying it for weeks. And again, Patriots, a good team. The Bills lost to on Monday Night Football. Cold weather, climate, all in all, everybody played in the same environment. Everybody played on the same field, and the Bills lost the game. Yeah, I just don't think that the Bucs are laying enough points here. I think it should be a 4.5, 5, closer to a touchdown game. I think that the offense for the Bucs, obviously, the Bills excel passing the ball, and the Bucs, that's their weakness. But I still think they're the better team here, and I don't think the Bills defense is going to be able to slow down their offense. And they're also on a short week and playing a very physical game, like Zach said. So I'm on the Bucs here as well, -3.5.
And I think that running game's getting going for Tampa too. And Buffalo could not, we all talk about Buffalo's defense, and we all think they have a good defense or capable of having good defenses, but they do have some injuries. But on Monday night with New England, it was obvious that they were not going to throw the ball. I mean, Mac Jones threw 1 pass until I think the last 8 minutes of the game. He threw a couple more, but they were going to run the ball every down, and the Bills couldn't stop them, and they knew what was coming. And I think that's a testament to, New England, but also it also shows some weak spots in Buffalo's defense. And I think Tampa's going to be able to run the ball on them.
Yeah, Leonard Fournette's been playing great, and if they can get him going, I mean, Brady's going to destroy the secondary.
Keep in mind, Brady's played this team over and over and over again, and this Buffalo team is not as familiar with the Buccaneers as the Buccaneers are going to be with Buffalo. So advantage Tom Brady and the Buccaneers.
Absolutely.
Moving along. Sunday Night Football, Rams at Cardinals. Your 8-4 Rams visiting the Cardinals, who are 10-2 in the lead of the NFC. The Rams are getting 1.5 here. They were spiraling out of control, losing 4 in a row. The over-under here is 51, kind of a high number for a division game. Nick, what's your feeling here?
Yeah, I think my favorite play here is the Rams and teasers. I think this is going to be a closer game than last time where Arizona dominated. I think it was 37-20 was the final last time. I think this is a closer game this time. I think the Rams are starting to get that offense back on track after the injury to Robert Woods. You're starting to see Odell Beckham be a part of that offense and starting to come through in some spots. So I think the Rams compete here. I also think that with the Rams know what's at stake here, and they've got to plug away here. If they have any chance of staying in the division race here, they've got to win this game. And so I think they're going to be ready to go. I think they need it more than Arizona. So I like the Rams in a competitive game, but that 1.5 is a little too short for me. I'll take the Rams in a teaser here. That's my favorite play.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be closer than the last game was. And at this time, there's no Watt for Arizona, and you got Von Miller, was added to their defense, so that's a big difference. And this is a tough game. I definitely think it's going to be a very close divisional battle. Both teams want to win this game. The Rams definitely need it more than Arizona, but Arizona can pretty much show up that division with a win here. I know you just mentioned the over-under, Tyler. Both teams had over 400 yards of offense when they played the first game. So it could be another highly offensive game. I don't have a play either way on that. I like Arizona. I know Kingsbury's only 1-4 versus the Rams, but Cardinals at home on a tear, 9-3 against the spread this year, 10-2 overall. I think they're a good football team, and I think they're going to take this division at home, but I think it's going to be a battle of the game. If you can get it under 3, give me -2.5. Give me Arizona.
Yeah, sorry guys, the fist bump was because Chelsea just scored. But back to the real NFL, American football. The things going on here that I see is we're all looking at a Cardinals team playing good and a Rams team reeling. Perfect example for the NFL. You pound on the Cardinals and then the Rams come out and win this game. Obviously, a divisional game, sometimes you think most divisional games end up in a split. I wouldn't say 80% of the time, but the Packers and the Vikings do split often. Ravens and Steelers split often. Unfortunately, nobody really splits the division in New England. But other than that, that's a poor example there. Indy and Tennessee split often. I just think we're going to see a divisional split here. Rams lost the first game. Zach mentioned offensively. The only thing I want to talk about there, the Rams should take offense. They got their yards in the second half when they were down 30 points. So, yeah, they might have both had 400 yards in offense, but the Cardinals did it in the first half. So they took a big lead and basically kind of coasted. And I think the Rams remember that, the bad taste in their mouth. Both teams were coming into this game on their high horse and in the top of the NFL the first time around. And I think the Rams are going to send a message here, and we're going to look at a tight NFC West coming down the stretch. Obviously, it's pretty much a 2-team race now, but I think the Rams win this game, and I'll take the 1.5 as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you like the Rams, you can get them to win the division right now at +650. So if you think they're going to win this game, they'll have a very good shot coming down the stretch to take the division. So there's a play there too. And I love the teaser, getting it up to 8.5 or whatever, 7.5 over a touchdown game. I just think the Cardinals are playing really good football, and Murray is really good, and Hopkins is really good, and they're both back and seem to be healthy last week. So
Yeah, and before we go, guys, I think Nick has one more for you. He spent some time this week looking at the Baltimore Cleveland game. I know we were going to talk about that game, but we chose the Cowboys Washington football team instead because we haven't talked about Washington all year. So I'll let Nick go ahead and give out a little pick on that game before we get on our way. But Nick, how do you feel about the Ravens and the Browns? Obviously, the Ravens coming off a defeat to the Steelers. Browns going back and forth all year long. How do you feel that game's going to go?
Yeah, this is my favorite game of the weekend. I love Baltimore in this spot. You know, just a couple weeks ago, you saw Baltimore pull off a victory. I believe the final score was 16-10. Lamar Jackson threw 4 interceptions. He was very upset, visibly upset after the game, disappointed in his performance. I think he comes out this game and has a very strong performance. I think he gets some revenge on that defense that picked him off 4 times. I think he's going to play well. I see Baltimore rolling in this situation. I don't see Cleveland able to score many points with Baker Mayfield behind center. He's obviously very injured. He's got a long list of injuries. Their running game is suffering because of it because teams are gearing up to stop the run. I think Baltimore is able to do that. And I think that Baltimore's offense rolls here. I like Baltimore to win this game by more than a touchdown, possibly. So definitely on the Ravens this weekend. Favorite NFL play of the week. Give me the Ravens as the dog.
Yeah, guys, there you have it. An extra NFL play for you. What more can you want? And the Ravens are actually getting points there. So if you think the Ravens are going to win, you might as well just take them on the money line. And a 2.5 point spread doesn't mean a whole lot in the NFL. I can say 2 means a lot less than 2.5, though. But thanks, guys, for tuning in for week 14 of the NFL. Check us out on thelinemovers.net. We're running a college football bowl competition. Closes on December 18th. $500 to the winner, $50 to second place, and $10 in gift card merchandise credit to anyone who can beat our college football expert, Trey Edge. Thanks for tuning in week after week, guys. Drop some comments in the comment section below. Let us know what games you want us to discuss, what teams you want us to discuss, any futures or any markets you want us to discuss in the NFL going forward. We're happy to discuss it with the playoffs coming up. Check us out on the web at _LM network and send us a like, send us a follow, hit that subscribe button, guys. It means a lot to us. And thank you for your time.
Thank you.